Let's move on to our main story now, the OnePlus 7T Pro and of course the McLaren Edition of the same. But we'll actually tackle this story in very different ways. First, we'll do a review of the OnePlus 7T Pro. Then I will do a comparison between this and the OnePlus 7 Pro. Remember, OnePlus 7 Pro, OnePlus 7T Pro. Then we'll move to this, the McLaren Edition. Now let me give you my first impressions. Of course, the story has a lot going for it. So first and foremost, in terms of ergonomics and design, no real difference. There is a little bit of difference in the optics, slightly more battery, slightly faster charging. But other than that, the pop-up camera, the overall feel, the 3D screen curvature, almost everything remains pretty much the same. So there are no dramatic changes between this and the OnePlus 7 Pro, except for the price. So that has become more expensive. It's now 54,000 rupees. Do remember there are many variants in this. The McLaren Edition comes with 12 GB. This has many variants to it, so you can choose which one you want. So let's take a look at that. And now before we move on, I'm also going to give you a little bit of my impression on the McLaren Edition. Basically, it is the OnePlus 7T Pro, but in a very, very different look, form factor, build and material. Am I super impressed by it? I'm not, and let me tell you why. Because what they've done at the back is one of those beautiful designs that is embedded within. But for some reason, I feel it's not added much. I mean, it's grey, the copper brown and the burnt orange and everything else is beautiful to look at. But the actual design at the back, to some people, looked almost like there was a smudge on the phone till it catches the right light. I don't know whether that really is a huge differentiator. But remember, these are just my preliminary views. Full review, OnePlus 7T Pro, difference between this and the OnePlus 7 Pro and the McLaren Edition.
OnePlus is on a roll. Before we had time to really sink into the 7T, they went ahead and launched the 7T Pro. It seems to be more of a small upgrade to the 7 Pro that was also launched this year. The OnePlus 7T Pro starts at 53,999 rupees, which is around 9,000 rupees more than the 7 Pro and a lot more than the 7T. Let's check out this haze blue color variant that the 7 Pro comes in and see if this refresh this fast was really needed. And what does the 7 Pro really bring to the table? In terms of design, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, in this case the tree being the 7 Pro. The design is eerily similar and the only difference being this haze blue color the 7T Pro comes in. The pop-up selfie camera is still perched there. The phone is a delight to hold and use and feels premium with the glass and metal finish. The screen uses a lovely 3D glass on the top. The 7T Pro has a 6.67-inch QHD Plus AMOLED display. There's no notch and the screen has a refresh rate of 90 Hz, which is beautiful. We loved watching content on this phone also because there is Dolby Atmos support. There is an in-display fingerprint scanner which worked adequately fast on testing. The battery gets a small bump up from the OnePlus 7 Pro. This one has a 4085 mAh battery with Warp Charge 30T that the 7T also comes in. It does juice up the phone very quickly and this is still a 30-watt charger at its core. One of the big things worth noticing in this phone is that it has a new Snapdragon 855 Plus chipset. We saw this chipset on the Asus ROG 2 as well, and in theory it is supposed to render graphics 15% faster. But while gaming, you will not notice much of a difference. The performance is really good of the 7T Pro and we had no hiccups switching between apps and using the phone. The OnePlus 7T runs on Oxygen OS 10 out of the box like the OnePlus 7T. This is based on Android 10 and comes with features like gesture-based navigation. This phone only comes in one RAM and storage variant, 8GB and 256GB storage. The storage is more than enough for daily use. Coming to the optics, there is 48-megapixel primary lens which clicks some great detailed shots. The colors are real and the images are nothing short of a great flagship phone. There is an 8-megapixel telephoto lens and there is a 16-megapixel ultra-wide lens. The pictures are good and the edges are not too warped in the ultra-wide mode. The 7T Pro also gets a macro mode which can click amazing pictures when the subject is placed close to the lens. The nightscape mode is also on this, and the one upgrade from the 7 Pro is that the nightscape can now trick ultra-wide angle shots. The pop-up camera houses a 16-megapixel shooter which gave us good selfies, especially in the portrait mode where the depth didn't seem too forced. The camera also supports 4K video recording at 60 FPS, so it can be a good phone for content creators as well. The McLaren edition of the 7T Pro also has been launched by OnePlus. It has these cool design elements on the back and it looks every bit the part to be a super fast phone. We like the orange accents on the side as well. The specifications remain the same as the regular edition except that this gets a 12GB RAM. And for this, you will have to pay 58,999 rupees. When compared to the OnePlus 7 Pro, the 70 Pro gets minor improvements like the 855 Plus processor, a small improvement in battery, and some camera modes added. There's no visible stark difference between the two phones, but there is quite a price difference. OnePlus seems to have made tiny bump-ups to an already very good phone, and maybe these things could have been waited for. But then again, if you are looking at a OnePlus phone today, then this has the highest specifications of the lot.